Now, having children or looking after them can be very hard work, and this weekend a grateful nation will say a big thank you to its mums. But just how important is it for mums and dads too to take time out?
Our performance coach and good friend Andrew May joins us now to explain why parents shouldn't feel guilty for occasionally putting themselves first. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it rare? Do we rarely put ourselves first?
Look, I think as parents, so Sunday morning, mums around this country will wake up to brekkie in bed and gifts and being sort of looked after by loved ones. But rather than just one day of the year, Mother's Day for mums, or Father's Day for dads, I think we need to start looking at a bit of self-care 365 days of the year, because we see stress levels, anxiety, depression, burnout going through the roof. We're always connected. We've spoken about that before. We're living these lives at such a fast pace. I think we need to slow down and breathe and not feel guilty. But I also want to call out, it's not just for mums and dads. I think people without kids as well, all of us need to take a little bit more time out. When you travel, you put the oxygen mask on first. They tell you on the airlines. So today is about breathing and putting our oxygen mask on first.
Yeah. And so practically, it is very hard for lots of parents to. The idea is fantastic, but to make the time to make it happen. So, what advice have you got on that front?
I want to put you on the spot first, both of you. What do you do to put the oxygen mask? Like, you watch AFL, so I don't know whether you'd say that that's actually
that's often a family thing. I'll go for a run or a walk to clear my head and also have some me time.
Virginia?
I try and catch up with girlfriends. I get a night off, and so I walk out the door before dinner, bath, bed, and say, "See you later."
You're going to love point 4 today.
Yes, and go and have a drink with a friend or an early dinner with a friend, and that is very deliberately me and girlfriend time.
Good, because you mentioned the word guilt, and I think the triad is females with children, mums, and if there's a religious or spiritual sort of background or belief, there's this guilt that if I do something for myself, I'm being selfish. So trying to really spin that, it's self-management.
Even without the religious baggage or background, I think there's still that guilt.
Yeah.
We've got some tips now we can bring up on the screen. As you say, avoiding the guilt trap is first and foremost there.
Yeah, by putting yourself first, it sounds like a play in words, but it's not. It's not selfish, it's self-management, because then you won't get sick as much. So many mums and dads get sick on holidays. It's avoiding Noddy syndrome. Remember Noddy syndrome? Remember Noddy and Big Ears?
I do,
I
yes.
love Noddy and Big Ears, and Noddy says yes all the time. I think a lot of parents, a lot of people just say, "Virginia, can you do this? Yes. Michael, can you do this? Yes." Every now and then we've got to practice turning our head the other way. It's hard, and saying no. You can't be everything for everyone all the time. 10 minutes of hapa hapa. So, do either of you speak Swahili?
Not at all.
Yes, I do.
You do, Michael? Yeah. Okay. What does
hapa means happy, happy?
Oh, we're very close. Very close. Just dust up on those Swahili books.
Okay.
Hapa hapa. I used to spend a lot of time in my 20s running behind the Kenyans. Okay, they used to come out here. We'd train with them. I'd run behind them.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, never in front.
Often about 10 k's behind them.
Yeah,
right?
a long time behind. And the Kenyans have this beautiful disposition. They run, they train, they beat all of us in the Western world. But hapa hapa has two meanings. It means slowing down. So it means slowly, slowly, and it means now, now. So every day I'd love all of our viewers and you too to take 10 minutes of hapa hapa. Just slowing down, breathing, doing whatever it is to disconnect.
I guess that's the meditation that we've spoken of and the mindfulness that so many people are getting on board with, and it's easy to roll your eyes and say, oh my God, this month's buzz term, but it makes a difference.
Here we
go,
another performance coach talking about all this stuff. Yeah.
You just hook onto this stuff, don't you? Like flies to the honeypot.
And going back to the final tip, Virginia talked about her night out, but you're encouraging all of us to perhaps have longer getaways.
Yeah, this is a great one. I did a blog recently on the psychological benefits of a boys' weekend or a girls' weekend.
Yeah, it's a really good thing to do.
And I think for parents, you should really look at once a year going away with friends, girlfriends, the boys, and actually getting away. So I do that with 4 of my mates from school. There's Dino, Ego, Mario and Lapo, and we all grew up in Dubbo.
So what are you called? Ando?
Maisie. I tried to go Maisie O, but it just didn't work. And it's a 3-day agenda. We go somewhere around this country and it's the same stuff. It's the same jokes with Dino and Ego and all the boys, and we love it. And as I mature, we found that the conversation has moved from just sport and dating, and it's now about real relationships, real connections and the ups and downs. So I think it's really important to have that bond.
I want to make a shout out though today as Mother's Day looms, because I know it's a really difficult day for a lot of women who wanted to have children or who don't have children, who feel excluded from the national conversation, because the deification of motherhood has just turned into this thing. My God, with the websites that we see, it's just laid on so thick that you're nothing unless you're a mother. And many people care for kids, and they provide care for kids from being aunts and friends and neighbours and nieces, and I just want to shout out to those women who also do care but who might not be biological mums themselves.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I think we've got a quote from a good corporate friend of mine named Carmel Mulhern. And Carmel works at Telstra, and I heard her say this when we ran a program a few years ago. You know, why should people who don't have kids not be allowed to leave work on time for outside interest and passionate pursuits? So
I agree.
I often quote Carmel, and when I heard her say that, and when I say that at workshops, a lot of people come up and go, look, thank you, because yes, you've got kids, you've got to leave work on time, but if you chose not to have kids or you can't, why can't you go and do art or go and do a language or go and see your friends outside? So big shout out to everyone, not just mum.